Zdravo. Hvala svima. Yeah, it's crazy how many friends and admirers you have.
Do we need that?
This one is that or? Okay. It's better?
Okay. No, you can
that doesn't make noise. That's just going into a camera.
Okay.
I don't think
this is just the camera mics. Yeah.
That's the technical. Do we? Okay.
Do we need it? Non treba. Važi.
Super. I hope it doesn't distract too much. And if it does, maybe it's more interesting.
Do you want to? I can begin.
No, I'm fine.
Yeah.
So I am a figurative painter, and a lot of my colleagues of mine would have an attitude like a little bit that they are thinking that the figurative painters should not be too close to other languages which are more photographic or related to cinematography and in my case it's all the contrary, and I always was paying a lot of attention to not only to other painters but also to other photographers, to films, and in that sense I always enjoyed trying to learn from those people who are from a different discipline, but very often they have the same sensibility. And in that sense, I thought that it was a good opportunity to show something else in the room, and that there is not only the paintings, but also like another media, like in this case the film of Mario, or also the installation of Josemi, so the viewer can get a sense of the different things and the things that painting, photography, video have in common. And how we met also, no?
Yeah, that was it.
Yeah, that was the question. And I think it was because there is this brand here called Molimao, and I just came across their Instagram site, and then I saw these photos, and I said like, wow, these photos are so nice. And then I came across his work, and I really freaked out like the quality of this guy, and I just contacted him, and we met, and we had a couple of projects. We did a trip to Serbia where we were also collaborating with an American photographer called Jonathan Mannion, and he was recording the whole adventure, and it was a very beautiful group of freaky people with different objects, paying attention to strange things, and that's how we met. And then for this show, we wanted also for him to bring something, maybe that could give, again, the viewer something else to see a little bit more about what is behind the scenes when it comes to the painting, that you maybe get an idea of a little bit some inspiration, where it comes from, but trying to avoid the documentary kind of thing and trying to make him as free as possible, and to do something that where he would express all his pure artistic soul, which is so big.
I think that's like the first thing that you notice when you watch this film. You've approached it like an art piece rather than a straight documentary style filming. You know, you've gone for really, really specific choices in the way that you've creatively approached it. Can you tell me about what your initial thought process was and what you were trying to communicate and why you decided to go this way to communicate it?
I would say that my initial thoughts were, okay, how do I show this guy in the best possible way ever? And then I was thinking that this documentary video or this video installation, I somehow wanted to have it as an amplifier of his work, because it's his first solo museum show, and I had so much respect towards it. So I just wanted everybody else, as I understood Sebas's work, I also wanted everybody else to, get a hint of it, but never to have it explained, like I use this brush, I use these colors, I use this oil, and blah, 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 blah. I just wanted to scratch the surface of this kind of topic, but I just wanted to give an insight into his way of understanding the world, understanding art, his thoughts, the process. And somehow I try to reflect this triple process, his approach, where the work process is somehow divided into three, as I understood. You say if I'm wrong, but it's taking the photographs, and then compositing, the post-production, and then working in the painting in the end. So I try to reflect this work process into dividing it into three images, but it's unconnected to it basically, but it somehow also is. And yeah, we went to Belgrade for work, and then San Sebastián, and we had also, between the work, we also had a lot of conversations, which led to this climax point of Sebas expressing himself in a way that he is, basically. I also wanted to, as I said earlier, I wanted to have this art work or this video installation as an amplifier for the rest of the space in the museum. And I specifically chose the black and white because I didn't want to give any hints of how it might look like if you're coming in there first and then taking a look. So you come outside and you're just like blown away by the colors, by everything else. Yeah.
So you've got this kind of like competing forces in the way that you shot this, right? So you've got these really long takes where we're trying to like listen and it would. You feel like that's a chance to process something. Can you turn that down a little bit, whoever has the speaker? Or not? Thank you. But there's loads of frenetic movement, and it feels like there's this kind of like these two competing forces between this competing forces, there you go. These competing forces against each other. Is this an intentional choice to create a kind of energy? And can you maybe talk about that stylistic choice a little bit?
Well, first of all, dividing the screens into three, I just wanted to somehow create tension of the viewer when you get inside of the room and you're just like, I just wanted to have this feeling of not knowing what's going to happen next somehow. So you have like this main screen and you have like the two of them on the left and the right, which are being used as some kind of fillers, so to say. But I try to get the feeling and the timing perfectly done in a way that they don't disrupt the other two moving images, so to say. That was my main goal, so to say. And when it comes to technique of filming, I think this wide angle, handheld, a lot of walking, a lot of coming into your face and then going away, that's something that I feel most comfortable and natural with in the way of work. Like I never put a camera on a tripod and then, okay, Sebas, let's talk and let's have an interview and then let's try to talk about topic and then extract something what we would use for the video, so to say. So it was just like hanging out, basically. It was like a little vacation, like going to San Sebastián and like walking around and filming. And yeah, for me, the most important thing is that it felt natural to work with him. And then that's like one part of the process. And the second part of the process is that my camera work also, like this kind of camera work feels like so much natural to me that I don't even have this feeling that I'm holding like a tool that I'm working, but it's just like I'm trying to document something in a way that's natural, or I don't know how would I say it in a way. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. Just what feels right for you. Yes. Can you tell me, has this sort of changed? Obviously, you're going on these trips and you're seeing environments that are somewhat familiar to you, but you're seeing them through a new lens. Has that changed how you feel about looking at landscapes that feel familiar to you?
Yeah, there was a funny situation where Sebas took a photo of something, and then also a friend of ours, Sandin from Alma, also said the same thing. Like I'm passing in the street next to this building for like the last 20 years, But when I had a look at Sebas's painting, it was like I never saw this specific corner of this building ever, or how the light is falling, or how does the structure of the building look like throughout the day, or it's always, I think every one of us has a special view on things, of course, especially artists maybe, but it's always interesting to see different perspectives and approaches, and for me the most interesting part is this middle part of Sebas's creative process, where he's compositing, where he's taking this building from New Belgrade, for example, and then the models photographed in Sarajevo, and this car photographed in Rijeka or Sarajevo again, or Tuzla, Zenica, or even Poland, or wherever. And then when I see it, for me, like the most interesting part is like how natural it looks like. It feels like that these people were there when he photographed them. Like for me, that's totally something else. And that's the moment of his art process when I totally understood it. And then I was looking at these collages, which were paintings. In the end, for me, that was mind-blowing somehow, yeah.
Sebas, I mean, 10 years you've been coming back to this region. What is it that just keeps pulling you here?
I would say like more or less the same things that pulled me in the beginning, in the sense that the lights or the architecture or the mix of both, or all the things you were describing. But obviously with the years, I also had the chance to meet more people and have a closer relationship. And yeah, before actually talking to you, I kind of realized about something, because I explained that maybe in the first trips like 10 years ago, like already in the plane I was like, or in the car approaching the former Yugoslavia, let's say, I was like feeling like already like a big excitement that I kind of lost a little bit. But that got balanced with the fact that maybe I got to understand more, or to get a little bit familiar, tiny bit with the language, or to know more people. So this lack of this first fire get balanced with like deeper love, which comes from somewhere else. And yeah, that's responding to the question.
No, that you answered the question. Really good. I'm wondering, in this time together, in this experience, you're both on a trip, sharing the same experience, looking at these places, but with different objectives. And you both come up with different art doing this. I wonder if you've taken anything away from each other's practice doing this.
Yeah, actually I find it very interesting that being such a different media, often I see movements on the way that Mario is recording that very often are parallel to states that I have painted some of the stuff, especially when it comes to the more expressive parts, and which are very often the parts I like the most, where the brushstroke is more expressive and you get the bigger sense of a movement. And to see Mario, how the freshness that his stuff has, like it was kind of like an inspiration. And also taking a look to the attention he placed to the margins of what he's doing, and we can see this one, especially with the three parts. And for me, it happens a little bit the same, that you always have like a more central part, but for me, very often the most interesting thing is happening here and here, and or here in this kind of. And with the video of Mario, I have often the same feeling. Like I love to pay attention to the margins. It's like when I watched The Simpsons as a kid, and there was like the Maggie is putting the baby in the supermarket, and I love to pay attention to, maybe because you see it every day and you are bored and you want to watch something else, but I love how he also puts an eye in what it's kind of in the margins of what he's recording. Yeah. It's very random, but
no, that's a great answer. Mario, same question.
Yes.
It's a tough one to beat now.
Yes. Like,
Sorry,
look,
I should have gone with you first.
Look, he said all of the good words. He said all of the good English words. For me, it was interesting to see somebody who's, I would say, like, if you don't mind, like, mainly a painter. Like, of course, you're doing photos, but it's mostly paintings, which is the end result of your art. But the photography is also a very important, huge process. And to see somebody as Sebas, like, do his photos, and like the way he's holding a camera, like the way, the type of lens he's using, like, then I was like started to check his options on the camera. That was the ISO, was the shutter speed. I was like, why do you do that? Why do you do that? But he has his own approach, and I think it's perfect. Like, the way he does it is perfect. It works, and I was also inspired by, like, I think Sebas, in one moment in Belgrade when I was watching him do photography, also like inspired me to be more playful in a way with my own photography, because throughout the years and all these commissions and jobs but also free work, you also maybe you get stuck in a way that you're like too strict to yourself also, that like, okay, I gotta have this lens for portraits, and then you're just sticking to this one lens, which is a portraits lens, and you never try anything else. But like seeing how Sebas does it all with like this one lens, I was like, why would you use that lens like for that kind of stuff? Like, isn't that wrong? You know, I mean, it's not that I was schooled that way, but it's just like that you get used to this approach of working using these lens and cameras and this and that, and yeah, it was also very nice to see him so playful, and that was also something inspiring for me. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Guys, I'm going to open up to the floor. We got any questions from anyone here in the audience tonight? Should have given you like a 5-minute warning on that, to be honest. Giving you a little chance. Any questions at all? Yeah, there we go. I saw you. No, that wasn't a pretend. He's got you. Well, you've got the boom man now. you got 10 seconds to think of something. So within the paintings, we're seeing depictions of landscapes that we don't necessarily. By the way, this is like you know this is coming. I'm going to ask you again in a minute. We've seen depictions of landscapes that we don't necessarily see in contemporary art very often. What is it that you find so particularly interesting as a painter going towards this particular type of architecture?
I think it's kind of two groups, as always, as I'm so painting this in the in the video, but it's always the same. Like, on the one hand, there is something that has to do with thinking on a more human or personal level, and always when you are walking in the night and you see I don't know, the darkness of a street, and then you see one single light, there is something that it's an emotion on you that makes you feel maybe good, or to wonder, or have or triggers a curiosity, and with that architecture, for me, it triggers so many thoughts like that, very unconscious, but like the lives of all of us, we as animals that decided to build these things and live in them, or like all that, and together with that is a more how would I call it, primary attraction to the collision of a gray surface against the sport of bright color, the power of seeing how different materials talk about the pass of time in a different way. The concrete does it in a different way as the wood does, or the metal reflects light differently to the bricks. And in that sense, the architecture for me is so rich in that sense.
Mm-hmm. For you then, as a Bosnian, what do you think having exhibitions and art like this coming into here does for a city like Sarajevo? Or can do for a city, not necessarily does, can do for a city like Sarajevo? He's back.
That's a beautiful question, I think, but also very important. And I mean, it's also like a question like what art can do, you know? It's like, I think art with its possibilities and I think it's endless, you know? It's like I could talk about it for hours, but what I would love to say is that having an exhibition like this in Sarajevo, and I think it's putting Sarajevo on a map as well. I think maybe one of the most important things. But I think that art in its shapes and forms is, among other things, also made for, of course, creations, but also change. I think it's bringing change, and I think in these wild times, having art present is more important than ever. Yeah, I would just finish it like that.
Great. One last opportunity to open up to the floor. Anyone got any questions? Suitably warned? No? We're good? Oh, there we go. Because I know as soon as one person asks a question, everyone's going to feel confident, and then everyone will start asking questions.
It's a question for Mario. Why did you opt for black and white? Because it's contrasted with the delicate process of painting creation.
Mario, why did you choose black and white? You touched on it earlier, but what was the second part of that? Because it's...
It's in contrast with the delicate process of painting creation.
Yeah, exactly what she said.
Yes, I think I mentioned it in a sentence earlier. I think for me it was important not to give any hints of how the art from Sebas Velasco looks like. Basically, I just wanted to keep it a secret until you get out in this room, basically. Like, this was my main idea. And yeah, basically, I just wanted to have the viewer focus on the entire process of Sebas creating his art, and somehow just to have the viewer focus on not on the paintings, but just on his thought process, basically. Yeah, that was basically simple as that. Yeah.
There's like a nostalgia often associated with black and white, right? It's associated with memory, looking back, and I think there's nostalgia associated a lot with your work. Is nostalgia something that was both a consideration for you?
Yes, I mean, like, mostly in my way of how I see things, like, it's just connected to, like, when I see on Facebook, like, I see somebody posts a black and white photo, like, the first thing I think is like, oh my God, like, do I see a rest in peace anywhere on the photo? But yeah, it's connected to nostalgia, or how would the Brazilians say, saudade, this longing, so to say. And I'm somehow like this myself. So I always tend to, like, go to this pale color, or like black and white, instead of having it super contrasty and whatnot. Yeah.
Do you want to jump on the nostalgia thing, or are you good?
No, I was just thinking. I think at some point we were arguing because I said, like, but I think black and white is also color, and you were like, what the f? Like, I just was thinking about that, but.
Great. Tell me more about your friction.
No, because I was saying, like, the gray is so rich itself that it's color somehow. I don't know. It was just a freaky painterly thought, but I just remember that we had that conversation.
Any other questions? Oh, I see it. There we go. Go on. Just shout it. We don't have another mic. He's coming. Don't worry. He'll catch it.
A question for Sebas. Do you think the Balkan will be always your inspiration, or you'll find, like, another inspiration?
Oh, she got right to the soul there. Go on.
Like, I think it was years ago, maybe 6 years ago or something, and there was already like 3 or 4. And I paint in the studio. We share a studio with some friends in San Sebastián. We have a collective called Formato Norte, and we are few painters. And I remember Sesma like once I'm like, okay, cool, yeah, this Sarajevo, Belgrade, this freakness with Balkan, listening to these guys playing that 80s music, but okay, what's next? And it's already 6 years more. And I'm still in that page, but But no, I think it will be. I would say like would be a lifetime story. But what I do see is like more and more. Maybe I tend to mix more in the paintings, as he was saying. Like I do these sketches and I mix all sorts of sources in order to create a painting. And I realized that lately I tend to mix more. So I also travel a lot to Poland. My wife is from Poland, and it's also a very inspiring place. And a lot of the painters, the last paintings are like mixes of Poland and Bosnia, maybe. And the same if I go to other trips to, I don't know, United States, wherever, I tend to mix more. And maybe for this exhibition, we try to keep the ones which were more Balkan-inspired entirely. But wherever my paintings go, I still like my my heart or
there it is.
will be connected forever. Yeah, for sure.
Perfect. Nice. We got any more? This is it. Time. Guys, can you put your hands together for Mario Ilić and Sebas Velasco? Thank you very much.
You are a hell of a TV conductor, man. I don't know what you record in videos. Like you should be in TV every day or something, man. For real.
That's it.